CalazCon is a show about war, obsession, colonialist occupation, and the many forms of violence those inflict. See the description for content warnings specific to this episode.
Welcome back to CalazCon, everybody. Today we're starting Downtime with the 86, fresh off their first successful mission where they left the ball pit in shambles. Now they'll have to face an entanglement, lick their wounds, and get ready for the next assignment. The 86 is sponsored by Emrys, and today's episode's produced with special help from Jason Kang. I'm the GM for the 86, Hadrian. My pronouns are he, him, and you can find me on the internet at noonewill notice.com. Joining me today is Christine.
Hello, I'm Christine Blight. You can't find me on social media at this time, but you can find me at CVBlight@gmail.com. And my pronouns are she or they. And I'm playing Dani, Hart, whose pronouns are she, her.
All right, and August.
Hi, I'm August Orion. I am a black game designer. You can find my work, or my design partner Yuri's, at deviantwarlock.itch.io or yurir.itch.io. I'm playing Ergo Hex, the soldier. I won't be licking my wounds. Ergo's pronouns are they and he. Also, I should say, Ergo's name is spelled in a dumb way. It's spelled
in the French variety.
It's in the most. I'm taking everything from the French because it's what they deserve. It's spelled Ergeaux. Because
it's spelled in the
it's just like that sometimes.
The Jovangelian tradition. Aviator.
Hi, I'm Aviator. My pronouns are she and they. And you can follow me straight to hell. I'm playing Basel Killian, the technician, whose pronouns are she and her.
And Chad.
Hey, I'm Chad. You can find me collaborating with Hadrian over on noonewill notice.com. I'm playing Misty Avalanche, and pronouns are he and him.
As we enter this downtime, we find ourselves with an entanglement as a fallout from the last mission. We did roll challengers, which means a squad with status 0 is threatening you, a friend, an associate, and you have two choices here. I will tell you this, it's the Hive that is in fact threatening your friend Morn Marza.
Wow.
They don't know that she shared her nav account with Basel during the last mission, but they do know that there are some severe overages for it being used on multiple devices.
Ah, shit.
So, you have options here. You can forfeit 1 rep or 1 personnel to pay your bill, or you can stand up to them, stiff them, and lose 1 status with the Hive.
I have a question about how this problem comes across their table, because that would kind of decide, to me, how we might respond.
This comes through Morn Marza, who was not prepared to be paying these overage charges herself.
Morn is Basil's friend, so Hex is just like, How do you want to handle this?
I mean, Morn really did me a solid, you know? And I kind of want to repay that favor because, like, I said I'd make sure that it wouldn't get back to them, and now it's getting back to them, and, like, I don't want to, like, stiff my end of the bargain.
I mean, do you want us to pay them, or do you want us to make them never ask Morn for payment?
I mean, that would be great. Are you going to do that?
That's what I mean.
Like, I mean, I guess I could go try and hustle something up, but, like, who's doing inventory in this popsicle stand?
It's better to keep a good contact happy.
Misty sliding in on the conversation because they've been here all along.
I mean, like, our deal was that I'd get usage and it wouldn't get back to Morn, and it's kind of getting back to Morn. So, like, I think I gotta fulfill my end of the bargain. I gotta pay him off or something, you know?
Basel, doing your end of the bargain wasn't the question. We could pay them, or we could go rough them up and make sure that the next time something like this happened, they leave Morn the fuck alone.
Rough up a bunch of like what? That's like Morn's part of the cabbie union. Like, I'm not gonna go rough up a bunch of cabbies.
Extra shrugs. Wouldn't be you, it'd be me, probably.
Don't you live here?
Yeah, I do. You don't, so you don't know how it goes.
Yeah, I'm gonna pay it. I'm gonna pay the bill. I'm gonna pay the overages.
Okay, this sounds to me like 1 personnel. The options are 1 personnel or 1 rep. The squad currently has 2 rep.
I think we can spare the personnel.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to mark off 1 personnel to...
For the listeners, our reputation situation is 2, so losing 1 would be extremely bad at this point.
I mean, it wouldn't be...
Only if you intend to continue losing it.
Yeah.
Well... So we're going into downtime with 3 materiel and 4 personnel.
And now we're going to move on to the proper beginning of downtime. Time to start taking activities. You each have 3 to go. Any volunteers for first downtime activity?
Hello, it's me, it's Basel. I would like to begin a long-term project. I'm going to move my token over here. And this long-term project is Basel is shopping around for some fake IDs, that fake identification that will pass scrutiny in order to her eventual escape plan, because Basel's drive is to reopen Killian's cars in a safe place, which means that she just kind of needs to disappear from the military, you know?
Now, how do you think you're going about doing this? What sort of action do you feel would be appropriate?
This is probably a consort, because Basel is just kind of like working the DFS encampment to just find somebody who is like, you know...
I see.
Does not know anyone in Hestiel to like talk to, and has not confided with Hex, who probably would. So, relying on some DFS fake IDs.
Okay. You can go ahead and make a fortune roll using your consort rating, which is going to be 1 die.
I rolled a 5.
You rolled a 5. It's going to be 2 ticks. We need to decide how long this clock is. This seems like a pretty straightforward ordeal to me, so I'm going to say this is just a 4-tick clock.
Look at that, already halfway through. I think that Basel just really lucks into finding somebody. Whoever she finds is probably the same person who does fake IDs for any kind of, like, you know, any clandestine squads, maybe, when they need to go undercover, and is just, like, come up with, like, $200 to get a, like, off the side of the desk type of fake ID situation.
Your basic standard issue deniable asset ID package.
Yeah.
To get thrown together for you there.
Guaranteed to at least get through at least 1 checkpoint.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
At least 1. Okay. Who's going to be up next?
I can get my first action out of the way very quickly. It's going to be very simple. Hex is going to train prowess, putting my current 3 prowess XP to 5 prowess XP. I'll also say at this moment that Hex's drive is start an independent mercenary squad. You know, that's a thing that would be nice to do. They're kind of feeling a little, at this point, a little bit more neutral about it, but they don't know how else to escape the situation they're in.
Now, what's this prowess training look like in the secret subway base? That does have improved prowess training facilities.
I think Hex is basically going for a run through the sewer system. Hex has been a soldier for their entire life, so they have certain habits that are like, why did you make this so weird and hard for yourself? So the thing that's a little hard about this is that they have an oxygen tank with them and they're wearing as a backpack, and basically they have like an hour of time to like go through this like very circuitous route that they've plotted, or they'll have to deal with smelling all of the bad sewer smells.
I see. Incentivized to work out.
They do make it back. They make it with literal seconds on the clock.
I can't believe Hex's workout plan is just a Dark Souls swamp.
I mean, what is a sewer but a Dark Souls swamp? I also say, as a point, like, this is a thing that they just kind of do without really talking to anyone, in part because their scar that they got last time is called Withdrawn. I mean, they were already kind of closed off, but now even more, they're not very willing to reach out to these strangers that they're having to work with.
Everybody remember during your cut loose scenes, there's a wall to be broken.
Or scaled. You could scale the wall.
We haven't had Dani or Misty take an action yet. One of you two would like to go?
Well, everyone was shot in the last session, and one is suffering harm currently, so we should probably acquire an asset of a doctor, since we also have no skills in doctoring.
Do indeed. No one has any skills in doctoring in this squad.
But we do have an infirmary.
Mm-hmm. It's true. Before we get started on your action, what's Dani's drive?
So my drive is to be enough of a problem that I get an early retirement without getting quote-unquote retired.
I see. Walk the razor's edge of dishonorable discharge.
Can't spell dishonorable without honorable. Yeah, so I, let's see.
All right, so you'll be doing the acquire asset downtime activity?
Yes. So we're going to roll a dice equal to the squad's tier.
Yep, and squad's tier is 3, so hopefully going to be a pretty good roll.
Luxury prison squad.
I'm telling you, we just sold our mechs and haven't told anyone.
Oh, we went up a tier for each mech soul.
Yeah, so fictionally, I'm going to I don't feel like going to the DFS siege line for like an official medic.
Yeah, the terminal company is already like not too happy about the 86 getting their infirmary supplies. So if you go and take a doctor too.
Well, don't they want a place for them to do their doctoring? They can stay in our place.
That doctor's all alone in that big empty medical suite.
So I'm gonna send a broad study psychic wave in the area and find someone who seems the most competent doctor. Unfortunately,
I can't believe that Dani's using her psychic powers to access fucking LinkedIn.
Job resumes.
Well, LinkedIn would probably be more effective. What she comes back with.
Let's go ahead and do the roll to see what the actual quality rating is going to be. So go ahead and do a fortune roll with 3 dice.
Ooh, shit!
That is
Critical.
a critical success.
This is way better than LinkedIn.
Which means you will be this doctor, tier 5.
Incredible.
Can we say that Dani fucking found, like, the DFS, like, Prime Minister's doctor, please?
Well, I would love to say that. Unfortunately, I'm already coming pre-locked and loaded with an NPC on this one.
Who is now, I guess canonically, the most gifted surgeon on the planet currently.
Take that, terminal company.
Unbelievable.
So this is a woman who really got into cosplay of one of the characters of Calazar Media, who is a doctor, to the point where she got a medical degree
Yo, what the
so that she could better play the character. her name isn't Roses and Clover, but she insists on being called that because that is the character's name that she is portraying. And she never leaves character. And you know what? Great at her job.
With these results, who can argue?
She's out here literally just being the Surgeon General, but for an entire planet. I can't really complain if she's wearing, like, cosplay scrubs or not.
Can fix all of our superfluous wounds from being shot and any of our major ones.
How do you approach Roses and Clover in her fully themed clinic is funded by the Early Birds, who she was a part of? Because she's definitely getting the luxury tickets to CalazCon every year.
Getting that dining plan too.
Yeah. So my great niece is actually a big fan of the show. So I do know some things about the show she's in. So Dani skids in.
Let us first establish the premise of this show that the character she's cosplaying is from. The name of the show is Roses and Clover. The character's name is Roses and Clover, who is a military surgeon turned vigilante serial killer.
Oh no, I didn't know about that part. My niece didn't tell me that part. I don't think she got to that episode yet.
Uh-huh.
We're gonna have to make sure we call ahead before visiting the infirmary.
Yeah, I think she just rolls up in the clinic. And there has to be like a catchphrase, I want to say, of the show that gets her into action, but I can't think of it off the top of my head. I'm trying to think of puns on Roses and Clover, and I'm coming up empty.
If you want flowers when you die, you've got to go for it today. I don't know. I tried my best.
I think one of her catchphrases from the show is "You need good luck if you're gonna avoid the thorns."
Oh shit, that's really good. Can't use it in my scenario, but I do love it. Yeah, I think Dani's just gonna go in and like engage with her on a soap opera level because I feel like she responds to that. And like I'll grab her by the lapel and I'll say,
Let's give the audience the benefit of a description here, and let's just say this woman is just a white lady with blonde hair that's up in a messy bun. She's wearing a surgical mask and scrubs with a plastic apron that covers her from neck to feet. There are spots of blood on it, but unclear whether actual blood or just costume blood.
Yeah, I guess I grab her by the scrubs and I say, Rose and Clover, you're the only person who can help us right now. My comrade has been shot in battle and needs your healing touch? Question mark as Dani tries to maintain the level of intense energy that's required for someone on her show.
Mm-hmm. She puts her hand over yours, and through like a swift maneuver that could probably be described as martial arts, but definitely theatrical style.
Yeah.
Like moves you through the plastic curtains into the operating theater, which is currently empty. And she's like, "Who are you and what do you know of me?"
I know you have a steady hand and a pure heart. And I'm just someone asking for help. I think she's able to corpse or not break character a lot better than me right now.
Lead the way and I'll be the judge. Gather up the surgical kit and back to the base with you. And congratulations, you now have access to the best surgeon on the planet.
Yay!
Hooray! Point to my bruise. There is someone who's actually shot, but, you know, do I ice this or what do I do?
Recommend you moodily smoke a cigarette and drink a whiskey at midnight while you stare at the moon.
I mean, that's already in the schedule, baby.
We have a doctor now, and we're going to move on to Misty's first downtime activity.
Misty's drive is to just disappear, because Misty has been in this war since he was a teenager in high school and has never been let out of the field. So he's done with it. So first downtime is going to be a long-term project to potentially do something with the bally song that we commandeered as a potential means of getting off planet.
Do you have an idea of what you want to do with this? And are you doing it sneakily to keep the rest of the squad from figuring out where it went? Or are you telling everybody about it?
I think Misty's default is to do it sneakily. And I was thinking disguising it as some kind of like food cart mech or something like that. That could sneak away with the rest of the CalazCon contingency as they left planet.
It is a standard issue bally song, at least on the outside. We did establish that, so finding customizations might not be too difficult, but that is still pretty big.
It is literally a humanoid mech with, like, guns.
Just put it in a little maid's outfit, and then it's like it's a food mech.
Yeah, if it's a food truck, does that mean that there's like a full grill in the cockpit?
That sounds like a good way to just absolutely burn your body.
Well, it's not here to fight you, you know. It's here to, like, the things on the side was like, call this number to get us to come to your event.
Maybe instead of like the old like waitresses that walked around with the cigarette trays in front of them, it's just a grill that's like attached in the same way.
Okay.
In the front.
Ultimately, the goal is to have this mech kept in secret and disguised in such a way that you can move about with some level of anonymity through the con.
I think Misty probably assumes he's going to have to get Basel involved at some point, but he just wants to try and go it alone and see what happens.
I do think this is going to be a 6-segment clock, because seems like a pretty big project.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think you're going to approach the initial steps here?
I have a suggestion.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a PR mech, which means it probably has a very garish and obvious paint job on it. So I think the first step would be to strip the paint on it.
That's kind of what I was thinking as well. That seems like Misty's level of like engineering is, well, paint is recognizable. Let's start there.
Now, there was talks of the crew of selling this. How are you going to explain to us what happened with it?
Yeah, I was going to say as a note, I have the feeling that half of the squad probably doesn't care actually what happens with this mech. I don't think Hex or Basel will be particularly upset about where it's going.
Basel, watching as it's wheeled into our secret base, to be like, oh shit, there's like a signed Ironmonger's jersey in here. Fuck, I'm taking that. Then proceeds not to care anymore.
I got my loot from it.
Can't believe your shit ass friend likes the Ironmongers. What's up with that?
Misty, so what action do you think you're going to be using here? Sounds like it could be finesse, likely, if you're sandblasting it or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we're talking very surface level of like removing obvious like emblems and markings and the paint and that kind of stuff.
Gonna go down to the Space Lowe's and rent a pressure washer.
Did you take it down the storm drain?
Yeah, I think pretty much it's like, it's in another part of the area of the underground where we're at.
Brought it into the secret subway base. Everybody was like, "Oh wow, look at that!" 5 seconds later, just keeps going out the other side.
Is there anything Misty can do to improve this in any way?
You could ask for help. You can help each other during downtime for no cost.
I think for this one, we're going to see how it goes.
Might be asking for help soon.
Yes, exactly. Misty's going to be like, well, I didn't quite get through the paint.
You have rolled a 3, which is effectively as low as you can go. You get 1 tick on your 6-step clock because you can't fail, but it can take longer than you want it to.
Going in with sandpaper.
You made it look more garish.
Yeah, I think it's like all patchy and it's like nowhere near what it needs to be.
My pull for this is a meme about telling you how to use the smudge tool to do meme photos. It's just the one that says, all right, so now you select the smudge tool and then wham, and it just you just created a huge smudge across the entire thing and not what you wanted to do. I think that's just what happened.
I think Misty kind of like rolls into base looking mildly defeated for some reason and just quietly hands Dani the nameplate from the ballet song. It's got Zach's nameplate from the ballet song. Is like, here, do what you want with that.
The ballet song was called Solar Flare.
Can we? I also need to say just a quick moment. I think we didn't say last time is Zach's call sign is Fluke, which is so funny.
Yes, Zach's call sign is Fluke. You've got the 2 plates. One that has is it Chief Warrant Officer 2 Zachary Fluke Richardson on it, and on the other side of the cockpit, Solar Flare.
Is one of them suspiciously shiny because he kisses it and then kisses his hand and wipes it on that?
Well, I don't know.
Can we have a little quick non-action scene? Because I do think Hex is just like, hey, who is that guy that you clearly had some kind of? Is your ex entering the field to bother you?
Is this as Misty is bringing the plates back in? I just want to know who all's here.
Yeah, I think it is then, because that's about the time when Hex would be like... Because I think when Hex is on mission, because they're, skilled in stealth operation and, cyber warfare, is that they do have, a HUD. And they had a bunch of feeds up while they were... And they just, in the corner, was like, who the fuck is that? Who is messing with that old lady?
I don't really know him.
Of course you don't, yeah. Listen. I don't really care about what you did before. But, if that guy shows up again, I just need to know if you care if he gets splattered or not.
Well, he is a DFS officer.
Hex just gets a nasty grin. Yeah.
Kind of squint at you. You realize we're DFS, right?
Oh, I do.
You know that.
Doesn't mean I'm not gonna go. If he is messing with our mission, I'm not gonna. He made himself the enemy at that point.
You can leave him to me.
Okay. I think for Hex, that one's case closed.
One thing I do want to bring up that I forgot about, that I feel is very important to all of this. We did talk about, at the end of the last mission, of disabling anything that makes the mech trackable.
Oh shit, yeah. Oops.
Is it possible to have a downtime action that happened before the one we just did where we do that? Or do I need to call in Basel and be like, okay, look.
time during downtime is very malleable in Beam Saber. So
I mean, time during missions are very malleable with flashbacks.
True.
You could make disabling the tracking part of this long-term project, which will end up with it being disguised and anonymized.
Okay.
I'm going to do the collect action. So I'm going to acquire more personnel for us.
All right.
Yeah.
What form does this collect action take, and where are you gonna be doing it?
Well, you see, we're in the middle of a convention. No one's talking about it. But we are. And they have a bunch of vendors set up for CalazCon based media fandom produced items. I'm going to use my great and terrible powers to really tap into the unconscious desires of the crowds.
Uh-oh.
And I'm going to make body pillows.
Oh my god.
Oh no.
And they're going to be of characters that no one will admit to liking, but like there is just a deep, uncontrollable lust for. I am assuming it's going to be an old man. People love putting old men into situations, and I'm going to help them.
So this has the same energy of people on Twitter being like, "Oh, I'd love this on a t-shirt," and then a bot replies to be like, "Oh, you could get it. You could get the t-shirt. You could get that on a t-shirt here at this link." And it will send you a t-shirt, but it is like
No. Sorry, I have to defend Dani's honor here. I have access to fine artistic tools. These are going to be primo shit.
oh, so they're gonna be from Etsy instead.
I need to say this is very funny because Dani is once again using her psychic powers for this, but also could just be looking at Twitter. Could just be looking at like, fucking whatever the social media is, being like, damn, the fan is really hard up for this one.
No one's going to admit to wanting this. That's the thing.
Very debatable as to which would give you more psychic damage.
Oh no, Dani's gonna go Psycho Mantis. Everyone's too horny.
You've done this to yourself,
I'm taking
old
control
woman.
of your controllers. Fuck
I've
off.
seen too much.
Floating over over locale. No more old men in situations.
Just for reference, I'm going to say the character's Aaron Lambert.
Aaron Lambert. Alright. Do you have any more description of who this character might be in the media franchise? Other than an old man.
I think he appears in 3 scenes across this entire show. Oh no, Aaron. A. Sorry. That's the French way. This is a French media. How dare you?
I've corrected the spelling to AA.
Thank you.
John Mateo.
Thank you. Yeah, he appears in like 3 scenes. He has 10 lines, I want to say, but like they are very sexually charged if you look at them in a certain way.
Okay.
In a certain way, meaning you have to like have your eyes wide open, face glued to the screen.
Yeah. I think he's an authoritarian character. The like commanding officer of the main character, I want to say. In his 55, brown skin, close cropped hair, juicy ass. I assume. There is no.
I presume.
Nothing's shot from behind. But the fandom has some pretty strong theories about it.
It's either juicier than most pancake you ever seen in all of existence.
We'll never know.
We'll never know.
We'll never know.
So I guess the question is, where are you going to be selling these at?
Artist Alley.
In Artist Alley, all right.
And it's funny you say, where's Dani going to be selling this? Because She's got some friends who love to help her and not have to deal with the crowds and all their emotions and thoughts at all times, just bashing her in the brain. So Misty, are you busy? You're like covered in paint dust, I assume.
Misty had volunteered earlier to run a shop, so...
Oh, well, I have a job for you to get supplies for the base. If you just move this product, it should take only like a couple of hours. I don't have that much supply.
Misty looks at it like, what we got here? Whoa. Yeah, this should be fine.
Yeah, you can have one.
Okay.
As payment.
This seems technically legal to sell.
I love the energy of how it sounds like Dani is convincing Misty to join an MLM.
I'm not asking him to buy the product before selling it. It's completely ethical.
Just take one and see if you like it or not.
See if you like it. I don't know.
All right. So the wealth rating of Artist Alley is only 1, but you're getting assistance from Misty, so you can roll 2 dice on this collect action.
I forgot that it's based on the wealth, but I'm not gonna backtrack.
Look, if this doesn't go the way you want, you can go for a more aggressive marketing strategy
Sales
in
pitch.
other regions. Yeah.
Got a 6.
Ooh.
Sell old men for cheap. Rolled a 6.
They're gonna put those old men in some situations, I'll tell you that.
So that
much.
is 6 more supply points for the squad. And good news is you did not roll a 1 on the other die, so no additional entanglement.
Hey.
Great.
I'm gonna go ahead and assume that we just want 6 personnel points.
Well,
Unless someone has...
they'll be generic supply right now. You won't need to declare them until the end of downtime for storage. Yep.
To declare them until they're used. Misty comes home with bags of money.
Putting this down in the 86 books as ill-gotten old men gains.
These are lawful gains.
Uh-huh.
They haven't made hoardiness illegal yet.
Hey, Basel, what's your next action?
Hello, it's me again. I think Basel had such an interesting time running with Hex last mission that she reaches out and says, Hex, do you just want to hang out? I can think of something fun to do.
Doing what?
Heckling CalazCon.
How?
Basel holds up a bandolier that is strung with armed detonators. I mind Hall H.
Oh.
There's going to be a recreation of an episode today. They've got mechs out and everything, all polished up. You want to see?
Basel, I don't think that strictly follows the definition of heckling, but yes.
I know why we're dismounted now. We had mechs, and then Basel joined the squad.
I don't know what you're talking about. That could never have happened. How dare you? So you're down for it?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
All right, I got us the perfect spot. I got us we're going to be on the roof, sort of overlooking the park. Perfect view down the whole thing. And I've got like a soundtrack that I want to set stuff off to. So, to really add the ambiance, as it were.
What's a little domestic terrorism between friends?
That's right. That's so true. So we get up there. We're up on a high rise, looking down, and we see off in the distance, "Hello, CalazCon! Are you ready to see our favorite episode, 529?" Stuff going on. I'm not sure how that's going to pick up on the recording. I'm so sorry, Cypher. But just incredible stuff. Like, they're getting set up. Basel takes out like a boombox. This is a 90s boombox. It has a CD player in it. Yeah, solemnly takes a CD out of her jumpsuit situation, puts it in, and forwards up to track 3 and hits play and gestures and says, I also set up chairs here, Just, yeah. I couldn't sneak the cooler up the elevator because people kept looking at me funny. So, unfortunately no refreshment, but...
I think Hex is just kind of like head on a swivel, waiting for someone to jump out and attack, because clearly this might be some kind of trick, but has like hesitantly perched himself on this folding chair.
Through the boombox, you were hearing the beginning of some like piece of classical music, and Basel says, "Don't worry, we're not gonna, we're gonna enjoy the show, and then the chaos is gonna happen." It's the key to any good composition is, you start off slow and then you start building up. So the two, we're just kind of watching the episode go. Like, there's lots of dramatic parrying, some jumps into the air while thrusting downwards towards the enemy type of moves down in Hall H. And then you begin to hear the music from the boombox pick up, and Basel takes out a detonator and clicks it. And down in Hall H, a mech that has just landed in a dramatic pose, kneeling, a mine goes off under the knee, and it collapses to the ground.
The crowd is shocked. Oh, that's not what happened.
This isn't canon.
Who's responsible for this?
The mock opponent approaching is like, approaching tentatively, like, "Are you okay, buddy? Hey, what's going on?" And the music begins to reach an early crescendo, and Basel pulls out 2 detonators and clicks both of them. And it just fucking goes ass over tea kettle.
I think Hex is like, when this was just kind of watching this like reenactment of an episode there, like kind of like head resting on hand, kind of bored, and when the explosion started happening, like, oh!
Mixture from the crowds of people getting angry, people just being confused, and people running terrified.
I think Hex pulls out like a burner phone, and they start attacking away at it. Down below, over this arena, AR starts to flare up and whip up into a storm.
I'm sure that the various security teams are looking for whoever is setting off these explosions, but Basil's quite good at not being caught at this, I think, by now. And so the music the tempo begins to speed up, it begins getting louder. Basel is just clicking detonators in time with the beat now, and explosions are going off all over Hall H, rocking mechs that were set up at parade rest waiting for their part. The 2 mechs having their interrupted mock battle are being juggled around. The eponymous Hall H stage is being rocked and might even crack if enough explosions go for it.
The AR starts like emanating the music that you're playing up here on the high rise, and like is doing like holographic lightning strikes in tune with the explosion.
Oh, incredible. Basel fully cackling, clicking these detonators, just oh, just see that one. Oh, wow.
They'll never trace it back to you.
All right. It sounds like it might be time to roll this cut loose action.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see how much stress Basel recovers from this activity.
It is certainly a capital A activity.
Rolling 1 whole die because of my connection. I rolled a 4, so I recover 4 stress.
Just about
leaving me with 1.
Good as it could have gone.
I will mark another tick in my belief tracker with Hex.
Mark a new tick in your connection clock with Hex and write a new belief.
You got it.
I think the last bit of the scene is Hex, we're climbing down the fire escape with just a little urgency. We don't necessarily want to be caught, and Hex just is like, "Thank you.
You're welcome."
That was good. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. I'm glad you enjoyed it. They moved me over here to the 86 because I liked doing stuff like that, but it was their fault first. They stepped on my shop.
If you need help getting away, I can help with that. I know people.
Oh, okay.
You shouldn't be here. More than anyone else, it's you're fucking blowing up your shop and then making you serve as a new one. I haven't heard of that one before. Though in the Empire we all had mandatory service anyway, so
Law of averages, right? Someone's gotta have had this happen to them before.
they just shrug.
I think that's the end of the scene.
Excellent. Now, Hex or Misty, what would you like to do for your next activity?
I can go next. I'm going to do a long-term project. Hex, very funnily enough, I think like it goes back to the scene of Misty selling a bunch of old anime man body pillows and just like the camera swivels to a different angle and Hex is there crawling around in like the scaffolding of Artist Alley because they're looking for something. They're looking for some gear. They spent time before joining I think it's kind of just like basically surveying the con, just kind of like being like, what the fuck is this? After they had left the Jovelians, and kind of began to understand that a lot of the cosplayers in Artist Alley, some of that gear is real. They're very convincing to like normal people, but Hex is a career soldier. That's the kind of thing they are trained to look out for. Hex is going to find someone who has maybe like a cloak or a shawl that is disguised to hide that it's optical camo, and some kind of like bracer or whatever that's hiding that it's like a fancy arm-mounted data pad or whatever. It was just gonna steal that and take it.
Okay. Let's see. Well, which one do you want to go for first? Because it sounds like there's two different pieces of gear.
I was kind of thinking, since the kind of thing here that's happening is that like they're looking over people, kind of waiting to find someone who has like both of these things. I would like do it at once and just have like a particularly large clock, which is fine.
I was gonna say one bigger clock instead of two small ones. That's perfectly fine. I think it's gonna be 8 ticks.
You'll love to see it. I think this kind of has to start out with them just like spending time at a distance studying, like just staring, just people watching basically. So I think this is a study because they kind of have to do it like one by one.
You got to familiarize yourself with the media and the cosplay scene to see which groups is going to be your target.
Hex is not familiar. Hex is just being like, that big sword is clearly actually a cannon.
All right, so we're going to go with study then, and that's 1 die for Hex. Unless you want to ask anyone for help.
I think Hex at this point, because this is like kind of for work, I think is comfortable enough kind of like taking out their phone and starting like a FaceTime with Basel.
Oh, hey.
Just like snaps a couple of pictures of people at a distance and then says like, hey, you're familiar, they trained you to be familiar with all types of like gear, right?
Kind of. What you need?
I'm just, last time, I don't have the stuff I usually have. You know, a lot of the gear I had to leave behind. I'm just looking for a like particularly well-made digital interface and a. You've seen those weirdos like Misty. Sometimes they have like optical camo.
Oh, yeah, I don't think a street. I mean, some street vendors might have it because it's a funny story actually. The 1080 line actually has that as a feature, but it's like code locked because it was originally made for I think the Jovangelians actually, but it kind of became mass produced and no one could figure out how to make it not be a default setting. And you probably want one of those, or maybe a this picture, they've got a.
They like turn the photo to show you that they're in Artist Alley. They like turn the phone around. There's killers down there.
Oh.
Yeah, a lot of them are hiding. A lot of them are doing a pretty good job, but like, I know a killer when I see one.
Oh, that one over by the sculpture booth. That one's definitely their comms person.
And I'm gonna roll this study with an extra die, thanks to my friend.
2 dice now.
Hex is very uncomfortable with saying friend at this moment.
Thanks to my coworker. There's that roll, and it's a 4, which is going to net you 2 ticks on this clock. It's now at 2 of 8.
I'm a fourth of the way there.
Whoa, living on a prayer.
And when this is done, you're going to have acquired optical camo and a fine data pad.
Yeah, I'm very resistant to the word data padded, but also the other problem is I'm also resistant to the word cyber deck, because this isn't fucking Shadowrun.
The hackers custom gear is the hack rig in Beam Saber.
Oh, okay, thank God. I'm so glad someone had a better name for this kind of object than I did.
We'll call it a fine hack rig for now. Once you've completed this, we'll discuss its form factor and load rating. I have a feeling we're going to be looking at a miniature version of the real hack rig that the hacker has.
Definitely not walking around with a whole computer tower
Strapped to your back like a turtle.
Oh, that'd be incredible. If it makes you invisible, heck yes.
These are going to be 2 separate objects. Anyway, Misty. What's Misty doing?
Yep, time for that second downtime activity, Misty.
Misty is going to go ahead and do another long-term project to try and we'll cut back to before Misty took the ballet song off somewhere else and was working with Basel to disable any tracking on it.
Is Basel willing to help with this?
Oh, absolutely.
There's a sweet sports jersey in it for...
Yeah.
I found this sports jersey in the cockpit. You can have it if you help me disable the tracking.
Oh shit,
on
number
here.
29.
And by disable, I don't mean blowing it up. No explosives.
You do need to be very specific.
Mm-hmm.
Number 29, the rabbit.
Yeah, Rabbit Johnson.
Please call me the rabbit.
That's right. You're so right.
Okay, Misty. So this sounds like, I would say probably engineer or interface if you go software, or rec if you want to just rip it out of there. The rub comes when we learn that you have 0 dice in any of these actions.
That is true.
But you will be getting an additional die from Basel helping you out.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. I was thinking like whoever's doing it, you get to use theirs, but that's not how it works.
If they take their downtime activity to help with your downtime project, then it can work that way.
Well, let's see how great this doesn't go.
You have 1 die, and that die goes up to 6. So here's hoping.
Living on a prayer.
Does seem to be just kind of how we do things here.
Hey, that's a 6.
Have indeed rolled a 6, so that's going to put 3 ticks onto this clock, which will move it up to 4 out of 6.
Nice.
Now, hi Chad. It's me, your local sicko. If you spend a supply point to upgrade it, the clock will be done. Or well, not done. The clock will be done.
You can spend a personnel to upgrade the result of the roll on a long-term project. And since you already have a 6, that upgrade would make it a crit, and that'll get you 2 more ticks.
If we don't spend our supplies, it will go away because we do not have room for all of this.
Then let's do that.
Okay.
Basel absolutely talking your ear off about the history of the Ironmongers and their many defeats at many championships, all the while, and then emerges from the cockpit with like a device trailing wires and being like, oh yeah, I disabled the tracker. There was also a self-destruct in there. I disabled that. That was like a small thermonuclear device. So good on us. Yeah, I mean, it's probably going to get added to inventory,
I
honestly.
think Misty's like, you should hand that over to the captain.
Oh, well, yeah.
Just for safekeeping, we can retrieve it when we
Put it
need
in some lead first.
Okay. Do you have, you wouldn't happen to know where the rad suits are, though, would you?
And Misty's like, I think I can find something. Hold on. And quickly
Like a real
walks
one.
away.
Hey, we all have access to environmental suits.
That's true.
Okay, so this finishes up that clock. So, Misty, you do now have at least occasional access and use of a bare metal bally song with no tracking system in it or self-destruct anymore.
And a wrecked paint job.
Bare Metal Ballet Song is my Led Zeppelin cover band.
Make sure you mark that down on your character sheet so we all remember. Though I don't think any of us are going to forget the looming specter of that being pulled out for one reason or another.
I have already forgotten.
Before we go around the table for our third downtime activities for everyone, Dani.
That's me.
As we left Zach during the last mission, you did fill up his rival clock, which took him out of the mission, but did have one rival move left to use. So can we talk about how telepathy works?
Ooh.
Telepathy is Dani's special ability. You can communicate directly to a person's mind as though speaking, provided you previously had a revealing interaction with them. And then other gameplay stuff, which is boring. Basically, so we've discussed this about the range of telepathy, and you said as long as you're on the same planet, it's basically all's fair in love and war. I think that Dani, with extreme effort, can kind of cut people out when they're trying to talk to her without her trying to engage in a conversation. But it's weaker against people with other psychic abilities, and also when she's particularly emotionally distressed, it can be harder to shut people out. And she's also vulnerable during sleep.
I was going to ask if you have the filters up while you're asleep, because it was sounding like no, and you already answered that question for me.
She can try.
As stated, there is one more rival move to expend for Zach on this first cycle of gameplay. And so it's not the night immediately after the mission, but it is sometime shortly thereafter. Dani's having what appear to be normal dreams throughout most of the night, but there is a looming figure as your dreams progress.
Sorry, I know that would be terrifying, but for some reason I'm picturing that meme photo of the guy hovering in the air.
It's the king of all cosmos being like, what up?
And you're running away from them? Okay, I see.
Yeah, I would imagine it'd be something like every time you turn to look at it, it's just like it's something you can only see in the corner of your eye.
Mm-hmm. You have dreams of your past. You have dreams which may be of your future. You have dreams of being stuck on this planet. Every time you turn, the figure's a little larger and a little clearer. Fades.
Every time we kiss, I swear we could fly.
I swear to fucking God. Just before you awaken, you dream yourself awakening in bed with this figure standing over you, and it rapidly coalesces into a vision of Zach Richardson, eyes aflame. And for just a brief moment, you know that he sees you. And then you wake up for real. Using this rival move to inflict level 2 harm, and that harm is watched. You can resist this if you would like to, as always.
Well, I mean, I got a doctor.
You do have a doctor. It's true.
And like a lot of supply points. So.
Also very true.
I'm gonna go vent to the doctor a little bit. He's just there all the time, and he just won't leave me the fuck alone. She's just like ranting to her about her past and like her future, and like dealing with him, and like we were fucking children, and we had no one else, and you know he can just like come in now and try, you know.
As always, Roses and Clover is seemingly perpetually setting up, rearranging, cleaning, resetting up her surgery equipment. Unnecessarily large array of bladed implements, I would say.
Yeah, well, as long as she's not using it for the therapy session, I would appreciate that.
Well, they're always here. When you're talking to her, she will be tending to her tools.
What kind of emotions am I picking up from her?
What you're getting off of her right now, describing this situation and venting the way you are, it's rising anger, but it's like hidden under a perfectly still lake of calm. In my profession, the way you deal with a malignancy is you excise it.
You're my best friend. No,
Would this not solve your problem?
I don't think the DFS is going to particularly appreciate that. And I don't want them to stop payments.
Bound to the hierarchy of man. I've always preferred to respect the hierarchy of nature.
Shut the fuck up. Oh my god. I hate her. I'm never going to.
Please, I got her for you, please. Dani vents and cries and vents some more about... I don't think she goes into actual detail about what went down with them, but I think it was just a lot of like pacing and just kind of talking about what a piece of shit he is, and that he just won't let her live her life. Surface level things that you tell a sociopath.
Right. She stopped tending her tools and does leave momentarily and comes back with 2 cups of tea and says, "There, you didn't use my methods, but you have excised a bit of the issue. I'm happy to help when you need it."
I'm not gonna drink the tea. If I don't see her making it, I'm not drinking that tea. But I dump it in a potted plant when her back is turned. So how many dice is this?
It is a 6-die recover roll.
Well, I got 1 6.
So that'll be 3 ticks on your recovery clock.
So I did not offer assistance in the moment. Also because I'm offering it now in part because I think there is something to like Hex is like you're because Dani, the thing with Dani is that like she's not constantly, but like often dealing with other people's emotions, and there's something to be said about the fact that like you can just kind of like passively be in a room with Hex and they just aren't doing that. That might be like helpful, even if it's just passive.
I appreciate the help. I really don't think Dani would open up even that little bit in front of someone who didn't have a Hippocratic oath and like sworn to secrecy.
No, I don't even mean like open up. I mean like literally just like
sit silently in the infirmary lobby.
Yeah, just kind of like I even like in a more like in like taking time to make
a trustworthy cup of tea.
Yeah. Also, just like the idea of like we have like probably duties to do around the like base when we're not on a mission. Just like kind of being like I know Hex is gonna be has to swap the cafeteria. I'm just gonna make sure that my duty today is doing something in the area in the weird null zone. But the idea that like there is the option there and Dani's like, I'm not ready to do that, I think is like a good beat.
Okay, well we'll leave sounds like we're gonna leave that roll with the current result. of 6?
Yeah, I will spend personnel though to bump it up to a critical.
Thank God.
Okay.
You make the doctor buy a cup of coffee that she did not make.
Good coffee from the bagel place down the street.
You don't know about the bagel place.
Dani knows about the place. She just will not leave the sewers unless forced to.
I see, playing true to life.
I don't live in a sewer.
Raising that result level takes it up to a critical success, which is 5 ticks, which does fill your healing clock.
I want to establish that, like earlier with Basel and stuff, Misty just kind of like happens to walk by while Dani's walking away from the session and just kind of says, DFS PR personnel aren't allowed to have many tactical nukes in their possession. Doesn't stop, just kind of mumbles it as he's walking by.
That's so confusing for Dani to hear out of nowhere. Okay.
I think Misty like has a habit of like reading people's body language and processing it without really thinking about it and then just saying stuff related to it.
The thing is, it's not the like, oh, Dani, she's not surprised that you can tell that she's upset. She has no context for the nuke.
All they're gonna say, I'm taking the thermobaric nuke off of the table. It's going away.
It's gone.
No one gets it.
It's gone, disarmed.
It gets on the top shelf.
Removed.
Yeah,
destroyed.
Basel handed it over.
Yeah.
So this turns the harm to level 1 harm,
It does,
correct?
and we're going to change that to nervous.
Could I say creeped out?
Excellent. Yes.
And this goes away at the end of the...
This will persist through the next mission. Level 1 harm and damage is cleared at the end of a mission. However, if you do fill that clock up again during downtime, it'll go away.
Okay. And do I have 1 tick passed over from...
Yes, you have 1 tick that rolls over because
Excellent.
the healing clock is only 4, and you got 5 ticks. So.
Just don't take harm next time.
Okay, who's up next to take their 3rd free downtime activity?
I believe it's
I
me.
will.
Oh, well, you know what? You go first. You have an idea.
Shoving Basel protectively into a locker. It's my turn.
Okay.
It's for your own good.
It's not bullying, it's friendship.
I'm going to keep working on my clock here because I found the person. I just have to beat them up and take their shit. So my next step on here is kind of just like taking note of where they spend their time, and Hex just happens to be in an alleyway they turned down, and unfortunately for them, it will probably go bad.
It will probably go bad. You do still have 6 ticks remaining on this clock, so it may be more of a tall order than Hex expects, but I mean, they are wearing optical camo and fine hacking gear, so.
I think I asked for Basel for help, but the way that they did that was like, hey, Basel, there's I need one of those sticky traps at this very specific coordinates. Thanks.
Do you let her out of the closet to locker to hand it over?
It wasn't locked. She can leave at any time. Also, it was a locker. I would never put Basel back in the closet.
That would be unforgivable.
Yeah. That's against the Geneva Convention. Would Basel put a sticky trap down at a specific location?
Oh, yes, of course.
This is going to be a struggle.
Yeah, it sounds like it. And
with +1
so that'll be 3 dice on this fortune roll.
As you pop open your can of stuck.
I pop out a cast stuck and like low ball it, and it rolls and like, what is that? And then it explodes.
I feel like we missed the opportunity to name it Mountain Goo.
Did we miss that opportunity?
No. Perfect parried it away. Honestly, I think for the best. Fuck! God damn it.
Alright, the result of this roll was a 5, which nets you 2 more ticks on this 8-tick clock.
They do give this person a beat down. Unfortunately, they fucking scrungle their way out of the fight before Hex is able to like take their gear off of them.
And once they break away, well, they do have optical camo, so this encounter ends unsuccessfully, but you got them spooked, which could make them more or less predictable. Okay, and let's move on to Basel or Misty for your third activity.
Hello, I've come out of the locker.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm doing just fine.
There is a juice box in there.
That's right.
What's our direct supervisors or CEOs?
Rex
name?
Nevermore.
Rex Nevermore.
Yeah, I'm picturing just Rex opening one of the lockers and like Basel just falling out because she's been reading in there.
No, Basel hands him the bottle of stuck and says, "Can you give that to Hex?" And then shuts the door back.
I was imagining it looking like Rex opens the door, Basel falls out and looks up, and it's just the meme picture of like the person who's dropped their lunch in front of somebody, you know? But anyway, I'm going to train prowess because I have 2 XP in it already, so I'm going to take another 2. That's my action. Basel, this is, Basel engaging in other few light heckling and running away, and that's training.
Not taking Hex's approach to outrun the stink gas in the sewers.
No, I think a bunch of CalazCon running cops are fine.
Mm-hmm. Basel hasn't gone through basic combat training, and this is her filling it out.
Running away backwards, throwing up the deuces.
Throwing another can of stuck.
Approaching, pretending to be a drink seller, and it turns out whipping like Nicholas D. Wolfwood whipping the cover off of the thing to reveal it's just a bang launcher, because the explosive part of my arsenal I've decided is just cans of bang, except they explode and you can't drink it.
Thanks for listening to CalazCon. This episode was edited by ScienceBird. You can find them on Twitter as @Vetaro. That's VETARO. Sound balancing for this episode was done by Christine Blight. You can reach her for voice acting at CVBlight@gmail.com. The show's music is by Devin Nelson. You can find all of their work at devindecibel.com. If you'd like to support CalazCon, you can find us on Patreon at patreon.com/CalazCon. Please tell your friends about the show too. Remember, all glory to Calazar.